join the club and float this Whiskey River Reservoir. We're gonna spend the weekend in the deep end of a diving bar.
Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
So, how is everything? Shandy, you running this ship today?
Oh, I run the ship every day. What the hell are you talking about?
Exactly.
Joy had an amazing interview with Lee Camp last night.
Yeah. Woo, woo.
I did. He's I had him over a year ago and he didn't really remember that much, but it's okay. He remembered meeting me a few times in DC, so that's good. But yeah, we talked about everything from, January 6th to censorship to force the vote to force the executive decision to the $2,000 mysterious missing checks to,
Right.
Just literally everything, just a myriad of topics, and his takes are always refreshing, and of course we had some laughs in there as well. So I definitely check it out. It was a good show.
Yeah, good job. Stevie, how are you doing? I haven't caught up with you in like a week.
Just trying to keep track of everything. I feel like everything in the news and in politics is going like at a million miles a second.
Right.
There's so many. Oh crap!
We're
so many
rocking out.
channels to keep up with, and it's all good stuff. Franco Analysis has been doing a lot of great stuff. Combo Couch. Your interview with Suzanne was amazing.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, that was kind of off the beaten path, but I think it was important for people to understand what the Robinhood app truly is and how they're co-opting it to get a financial picture of what they're going to do, So it was a great show. Suzanne's so smart. I love when she brings reports and here, this is what's really going on.
I was grabbing my notebook. I was like, I got to take notes on this. It's a lot. But
hey, Chad.
She had her own notebook. She
did. She really brought it. You want to know the lowdown on that? Go check that interview out, truth be known. But good morning, Chad. I see Jilly and Karen Daly and Sirius and Holly Hunter and Karen Daly. Alwalski, good morning. Let's see who's over at the other one.
The Salt Lakers.
Good
morning, Salt Lakers. We're getting the Natural Progressive channel. They seem to come in a little late. I don't know if the alerts are something, but yeah, they're coming over there. So
yeah, that one starts a little later, I think, for some reason.
Are you gonna cover the highly manipulated flash crash on Wall Street this morning? Well, we did that. One yesterday. Is there another one? Flash crash that you know?
Well, yeah. I'm sure Suzanne will cover it. We'll have to do another show.
Yeah, okay. Let's get the card. This card's quite creative. You want to give us some background on this, Shannon?
Hey, I didn't create this card. I stole it from Chris Hedges' article, which I've got in the deck, and I'll read it. The beginning of that article is amazing. Please go find this article and read it. It's amazing.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Just like for the brains.
Yeah, just like for the brains. We're kicking off something that's near and dear to our hearts this morning. That would be the
melting
confirmation of Neera Tanden. But let's see how Crystal really feels about this before we get into it.
Really simple. There is no good reason to confirm one of the worst actors in Washington and one of the most devoted enemies of the political left. The idea of Neera Tanden in a position of power should make your stomach turn, and the notion of Neera Tanden as an ethics watchdog is a joke. No one who cares about corruption or working families should vote for Neera Tanden. And honestly, Sagar, this radar could have been like an hour long.
Yeah,
there was so much, just on the corruption front. There are corrupt deals with energy companies, all kinds of foreign governments, all of that. Not to mention on the policy front, advocating for cuts to Social Security
Welfare,
and budget
right.
hawker.
Yeah.
There was an email that she sent that was like, we should just invade Libya and take their oil.
Yes.
What are you talking about? So on every angle, but I really think the core of it is, and people need to understand this, it's not like, these are isolated incidents with Center for American Progress. No, this was the intent of this organization because it was set up as a way to be in Hillary Clinton administration in waiting. So all these donors would flood money in to get close to the Clintons and get their access and get their wish list and make sure that the policy that was coming out of the Institute would never go too far and threaten their bottom line.
Yeah, that's it.
Anybody disagree with that?
She grew up on welfare. She understands the people.
Right.
Yeah. So, any bets on if she's going to get confirmed or not, or?
Well, if that's what they want, and that's what they're going to get.
Of course she will.
Right?
Yeah, our brother Bernie, I have to say, confronted her on her shtick. I think this was yesterday, and I just want to show a little bit of that. Tell me when you can hear this.
I don't want to hear it. Bernie Bros. Isn't she the one who came up with the Bernie Bro narrative?
Yes.
That's what I thought.
Received under your leadership. According to the Washington Post, since 2014, Center for American Progress has received at least $38 million from corporate America, including Wall Street and every special interest that I can think of. So before I vote on your nomination, it is important for me and members of this committee to know that those donations that you have secured at CAP will not influence your decision-making at the OMB.
All right.
Serious, is he?
You know what? I'm dying here because, of course, they will influence her.
Oh my God.
This question to me is just like trying to qualify his vote, which he's going to vote for her. Would you agree, Joy?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I couldn't really hear it that well, but I appreciate that he's calling her out, and at the same time, he couldn't say, she's a fucking bitch because of all she's done to me and my supporters. So I get that. But he could have gone way harder. Way harder.
Yeah. Stevie, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it seems that as much as I hate to say it, he just kind of goes along with what they want him to do. So, I mean, whether it's supporting Hillary Clinton, as atrocious as she was, or Joe Biden, it's, he kind of just does the establishment's bidding at this point. He might say a few things, push back a little bit, but nothing to upset the apple cart. That's for sure.
All right, Shanda, tell us how you really feel.
Whatever my friend Joe says, I'm cool with. I mean, that's what he's been doing, right? We know that. Hey, Jenna Colby, exactly. I agree.
What did Jenna Colby say?
Jenna, whoop-de-woo Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yeah, I think he's just giving himself cover by saying, okay, here's what you're going to get, and I'm just exposing it. I'm going to vote for her, because he starts out, before I vote. Did he say for you?
Yeah, no, he said before I vote on your.
All right.
On your.
Just checking. I've got the sparklies going on here.
Yeah,
Anyway,
you do.
moving on to, so what does Brother Jimmy have to say? I'm going to start referring to them all as brothers and sisters. That way nobody thinks I'm biased, so.
Right.
Which I am biased.
Okay, Cornell.
Yeah. I think that's my happy place. No, that's my safe place. Anyway, here we go.
Of course it is. Of course. I mean, the whole goddamn Biden administration is one big
Jen.
corrupt corporate maniacs. I mean, that's all it is. So let me move on.
It's about to get more corrupt with this.
Yeah. So here she is. So you remember she wanted to cut Social Security, and here she is saying it.
I think the question really is, if we're going to have a deal to address long-term deficit reduction, we need to put both entitlements on the table as well as taxes. It's unfair to ask only middle-class Americans to bear the burden of our deficits.
So what she's saying is we need to have the poor.
Yeah.
That she's saying we can't just have middle class people pay for our deficits. We have to have poor people pay for it because they're the ones causing it. You think I'm kidding?
Plus, Americans actually didn't create the deficits. So I think.
So, and who did? The goddamn poor people. And by the way, it makes perfect sense because
we have a deficit. We have Social Security and Medicare looming. The number of people on Social Security and Medicare is now 40 million people. It's going to be 80 million in 15 years. Would you consider looking at those programs, age of eligibility,
Absolutely.
cost of living, put it all on the table?
The answer is absolutely. You have to.
Yeah, of course. So that's why she's perfect for him. He wants to cut Social Security. She wants to cut Social Security and Medicare.
We warned you. We warned you. If you vote for Biden, you were going to cut Social Security, and that's exactly what they're going after. We knew austerity would roll out under Biden, and the fact that she claims she grew up on welfare and then attacks the poor fucking disgusts me, because she doesn't represent, the working class of this country.
She literally just called Social Security entitlements.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
No,
Entitlement.
They're like in your face with this stuff. It's such a bubble, whether it's the shit libs in Congress or Hollywood shit libs, like you talk about near a tantrum in your book. I think you need to switch it up and make it even a more acidic call out there. Joy, is there something we can say that's not XXX rated about her, or are you going to stick with a tantrum one?
Well, Nira twat waffle. I'm sexist. Nira douche canoe. In 2016, us women all knew we could be sexist. All of us found that out. But yeah, in our book, she's one of our main characters, Nira Tantrum, and we pretty much rip her a new asshole, and it felt so good to do. One of the things that pretty much no one ever talks about with Nira is that she physically punched Faz in the stomach, like physically. And then, why? Because she dare ask her a question about why Hillary voted for the Iraq war. And Faz was Bernie's campaign manager, and she physically punched him in the stomach.
Yep.
And when she was asked about it in an interview, she admitted it and stated she would not apologize. Yeah. Now, we all know if Bernie would have even sneezed on her, it would have been physical assault. So the fact that she has been physical with someone and is still like, oh yeah, she gets a great job. So Pat and I address that in our book, and essentially Nira is asked by Joyanne Greed, how do you feel when you see all these young girls with Bernie shirts on? And she said, it feels like someone punched me in my ovaries. So we definitely go hard on her in that respect. And then also you have the woman who worked for her, who came to her in privacy and said, look, someone is sexually harassing me. Yep. And Nira outed that woman's name in the middle of a board meeting. That is awful. That woman now knows, everyone knows, she has to work with the dude every day. And I believe, I could be wrong, but I do believe she resigned because of that. But and when we're talking about Nira tantrum, I also want to point out that Stacey Abrams worked for her. And when everybody's like, oh my God, Stacey Abrams, she gave us Georgia. First of all, she endorsed and worked for Michael Bloomberg during the presidential campaign. And she worked for CAP. Yeah. So if you're disgusted by Nira, you should be disgusted by Stacey, because they're like cohorts.
Yeah, equally disgusted by them.
Stevie, if Nira Tantrum punched you in the gut, would you shake her hand and pat her on the shoulder, or what would you do?
Oh, absolutely not. No, that would not. No. That's crazy. I mean, we see a lot of crazy stuff, right? I mean, you've got people out there that are, people that have committed, rape and sexual assaults of all varieties that they're in, still in office. So, I mean, for her to punch somebody, it's like, well, I mean, I guess I shouldn't be shocked, right? But, it's still absolute insanity. And, especially, I just don't understand. Like, I wish they would just try a little bit harder to, like, lie to us, right? Like, don't
just
I mean,
lie to
it's
us. Lie
so
to us.
transparent. They don't even care. It's just such a slap in the face that they don't even try to hide their disgustingness and their just, plans for, world domination, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, they put it right out there in the open. They're
got-
bragging about rigging an election
Yep.
in, what was it, Time Magazine?
Yep. I brought
So-
some of that today. So.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, they just, they're not even trying.
Yeah, they got all the
It's
marbles.
insulting.
They got all, and closing that, Shanda, isn't Tandon going to be in charge of ethics review in her new job?
She's so ethical.
It's like, God, talk about oxymoron.
Oh, wow.
She's going to be in charge of ethics review, I believe, in her new position.
Yeah,
So-
she needs that twat waffle needs kicked in the cooter with a pair of cleats.
Oh my God, Dirty Mouth, Potty Mouth Wednesday. We're gonna have to change this to Potty Mouth Wednesday. I do
Well, she's a
want
twat waffle.
I do want to thank Shanda for showing our graduation picture up in the left-hand corner. This is Oz and Shanda at their prospective graduations.
We did a bunch of photo shoots, so they're throughout the deck. There's some pretty good ones.
I had hair at least.
Always.
At least. So what do we have here, Shanda? I brought
you put this up there.
Yeah,
You
I brought
that.
this. Just so everybody knows, J&J CEO says people may need annual COVID vaccine shots for the next several years. Who wants an anal swab? You know what? are any of you surprised that they're going to do this on an annual basis?
No, it's like the flu shot. It's replacing the flu shot.
Yeah, and so this is nothing new. It's just I am having a problem with them shoving RNA in my arm every year. Don't you wish everybody would?
I took mom in yesterday, and she had a regular doctor's appointment. They called at 7:30 in the morning and said, "Can we put her on the COVID vaccine list?" And we'd already told them no twice. And she's been going out to bingo and hanging out with her friends. So I was like, "Okay, just do it." So I get in there. They give her the shot, and the doctor goes, "When you come back in 28 days, that's when she'll get sick." So they're flat out telling you you're going to get sick with the second Moderna shot.
Well, define sick. What do you mean sick?
Oh, he said I took a Netflix day. I had the flu and I was fine a day or two after that. So you're telling me we have to go through this every year now?
And he's an 88-year-old grandma.
No, yeah, no, he's a 50-year-old boutique left who I tell the truth to when I see him.
All right. God, we might, I guess we should watch where we go with this conversation, but Jesus.
There's a lot of things we can't talk about on
Did you
YouTube
guys
anymore.
see?
Go ahead.
Did you guys see? I forget what it's called, damn it! But there was an article about, I know me and Chanda have had COVID tests, and they go like up to your brain, and it hurts, and it's awful. Well, there are people who literally are getting off on it, and sexually. So they're going to get COVID tests to like get off.
So that
It's become this new kink.
so it's kinky to get aspirated through the nose with a swab.
Yeah, I guess so. To feel like it's touching your brain. It's one of the most unpleasant things ever.
Well, they didn't even stick it up my brain. They barely stuck it inside my nose and just rubbed it around like a DNA test. And she said, "Oh, well, we don't have to reach your brain anymore." And then the very next day I read that China is collecting our DNA from these COVID tests. So I was like, I thought that was more like a DNA test than a COVID test.
Wow. Wow.
Conspiracy.
Oh, another great meme. Thank you, Shanda.
Sloth. I love sloths.
Jesus Christ, Shanda. Quit. This is how Shanda and I get kinky on Beauty and the Boomer.
I love your hair.
Oh yeah, I do too. It looks like somebody we know. Anyway, it's not David Dole either. What is this one? You brought this. This is Guardian, right?
Oh, so this is a recap of yesterday's impeachment hearing.
Oh, joy. Okay.
I know, right?
The Senate will be in order.
Chaplain
Dr. Barry Black will lead the Senate in prayer.
Turn it
You
up.
will not be hearing extended lectures from me because our case is based on cold, hard facts.
My cold dead hand.
It's all about the facts.
We will stop the steal. After this, we're going to walk down, and I'll be there with you. We're going to walk down. We're going to walk down to the Capitol.
Let's take the Capitol.
Wait a second. Wait a second.
We need fresh patriots abroad.
If that's not an impeachable offense, then there is no such thing. Their argument is that if you commit an impeachable offense in your last few weeks in office, you do it with constitutional impunity. You get away with it. Conduct that would be a high crime and misdemeanor in your first year as president, and your second year as president, and your third year as president, and for the vast majority of your fourth year as president, you can suddenly do in your last few weeks in office without facing any constitutional accountability at all. This would create a brand new January exception to the Constitution of the United States of America.
With this trial, you will open up new and bigger wounds across the nation. For a great many Americans see this process for exactly what it is: a chance by a group of partisan politicians seeking to eliminate Donald Trump from the American political scene and seeking to disenfranchise 74 million plus American voters and those who dare to share their political beliefs and vision of America.
Donald Trump has already done a number of things which legitimately raise the question of impeachment.
I don't respect this president, and I will fight every day until he is impeached.
That is grounds to start impeachment proceedings.
Let's understand why we are really here. We are really here because the majority in the House of Representatives does not want to face Donald Trump as a political rival in the future.
Okay, so I have a couple of things I got to add. So Trump's attorney, the one with the glasses that said that, this is just a witch hunt, he started out by calling the opposing team the prosecutor, and then he laughed and said, "Oh, I know you're not a prosecutor. I know it's different." And he rambled on for like an hour, and Trump was pissed and throwing shit at the TV. Like, I can't believe I hired this idiot to represent me. And then the Democrats brought an 18-minute long video compiled of all of these things that they could add together from the insurgent, the non-insurgent, to make it look like Trump, marched hand in hand with them down the road. And yeah, so there's your recap of Trump's second impeachment.
I just have one thing I want everybody to think about before we hear from Stevie and Joy. In the beginning of that, it was Trump speaking. Then they took the context of rioters saying, "Take the Capitol."
Yeah.
All Trump says, we were going to march down to the Capitol. I didn't hear him say, "Take the Capitol." Did
Right.
you? So
No,
this
but 18 minutes of that shit was put together.
Yeah, so this was all put together I think that's going to backfire on him. Anyway, Stevie, what do you think?
I mean, that's it. That's so blatantly dramatized. Like, if that was made for a movie, it would be less dramatic than that. Like, it is unreal. As far as this whole narrative around the Capitol, they don't want us. We're supposed to believe the spin. We're supposed to believe what the media is saying. And when you look at the facts of it, over 100,000 peaceful protesters there. Only maybe 100, 200 people that went to the Capitol. They're lying about things. They're lying about how people die. I mean, they're citing like 5 or 6 deaths at the Capitol when 3 of them were heart attacks that weren't even happening during the protest riot, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
So, and there's so many double standards because do we remember when they were sitting in Nancy Pelosi's office and protesting in there? I mean, It's the same place. So,
yeah.
I mean, we're allowing it with some people and not others. And this whole thing of the presidency, oh, well, they get it like a free month. They have a free 4 years or 8 years. How many war criminals do we have?
Exactly.
That are painting pictures and dancing with Ellen? So, I mean,
Yeah.
they're never held accountable. Since when?
Yeah, Joy.
Anyway.
What Joy? I know, and they broke the law, and I don't know if it was 200 or 2,000. I've heard it mixed, but from what we could tell by what was recorded, it looked like a few hundred people, not thousands of people marching on the steps. So, Joy, what is your feeling on this?
Well, the thing is, and maybe it's because I'm a little analytical or what have you, but instead of worrying about impeachment, to me, I find it way more fascinating that we could have a psychological talk on hive mind. I mean, Trump didn't say to do this, but this hive mind of people got it in their head that they want to do it. And I think that's way more fascinating of a topic. But also, I think, just the fact that, look, you tried to impeach Trump before, you failed. This is your other attempt to say, well, we got him impeached. Maybe not the first time, but we did do it. Even though he was out of office, we did it. And it's like, at this point, I honestly feel like let it go. If you want to deal with him, through a court of law, whatever, do whatever you want. But impeachment after someone has left makes no sense. Also, for 4 years, we've heard shitlibs say, I can't wait till that orange menace is out of the White House and we never have to talk about him again. And the same people are like, I'm glued to the TV. I can't stop watching this. Oh my God, this impeachment trial. And they still want that boogeyman. They still want that shiny distraction. There's, I'm sure 99% of leftists know who Brooklyn Dad is on Twitter. And he said, I'm watching this footage of January 6th and I'm being re-traumatized all over again.
I saw that.
And this is worse than 9/11. Yeah. Anyone who says it's not is lying. And I'm thinking, are 18 years of black and brown people going to be bombed for this shit? Like, are you kidding me? Are you that privileged to say that 5 deaths on one day is worse than all the deaths that happened on 9/11 and the fact that we're still at war 18 years later?
Yep.
That is the most ignorant shit. And then he came out later that day because he was getting crap for it. This was yesterday. And he said, would you rather be punched by a neighbor or a stranger? And I'm like, what? Trying to quantify false equivalencies with rationalizing your really stupid take. And this is the kind of shit people are saying. I'm being re-traumatized watching this. You really are complaining because people put their feet on Nancy Pelosi's desk?
Oh, Fee went after him. Fee chewed his ass on that tweet. It was an awesome response from her. But, it's so dangerous that they're painting 74 million voters with one paintbrush, a swath of, they're all insurgents, they're all racist, they're all fascists. And this is going to come back to roost on the Dems. They're going to fill this. They just don't realize it.
Absolutely. They keep moving the goalposts. I mean, what started out with as a rally for election integrity is now they're grouping in everybody pretty much that they see to the right, libertarians, Republicans. They said that now they're white supremacists somehow. I mean, not to say that, there wasn't white supremacists there, chances are,
right.
But it wasn't about white supremacy. It wasn't the KKK taking over the Capitol. It was people protesting election integrity, which what did we do back when in 2016 with Bernie Sanders? So this is just a way
to talk about it.
This is blue anon. This is this is their conspiracy
I like that.
theory.
Blue anon.
That they're coming up with evidence free. So if we're going to kick all these people out of office for, saying all these untrue things, then, who's to say that? I mean, they should all go. They should all go.
I'm for that.
Yep.
I'm for that. What do you?
Literally know what insurrection means. Like they always, every time something happens, the news places, come up with this catchphrase, and it's like I wonder, that word is just become so trite. I wonder if people really get it.
You get it.
What do you got up there, Shanda?
Controlling the flow of information. Is that what's up there?
I think so. Did I bring this?
I don't remember.
I don't remember. Let's see what it is.
I'm here with Max Blumenthal.
Oh, yeah.
From
I
the
brought
Gray
this.
Zone. And we're going to cover this piece right now. This came out in Time Magazine. It was written by Molly Ball on the 4th of February. And the headline is a little shocking. The secret history of the shadow campaign that saved the 2020 election. So it's a very long article. And it talks about how all these people got together behind the scenes to make sure that Joe Biden won the election. And they talk about the ACLU. They talk about labor getting together with the Chamber of Commerce and all these business people. And behind the scenes, how they were all working together. And so a lot of people have made a lot of hay out of that, which we should. But here's the part I want to focus on. So here's a part of this I want to focus on, because some of it's kind of chilling. This is from Time Frickin' Magazine. A well-funded cabal of powerful people ranging across industries and ideologies working together behind the scenes to influence perceptions, change rules and laws, steer media coverage, and control the flow of information. So that's what they're talking about, the shadow campaign. So this is just one small part of it. This is what they did. They worked behind the scenes to influence perceptions, change rules and laws, steer media coverage, and control the flow of information. And just so you know, nothing to worry about. They weren't rigging the election. They were fortifying it. Do you want to know? And they did it all in secret, because that's how you fortify elections, by doing things in secret and not being transparent. So I'm going to show you what they did. For decades, campaigns have grappled with everything from anonymous calls claiming the election has been rescheduled to flyers spreading nasty smears about candidates' families. That's normal politics, right? Well, someone named Laura Quinn, a veteran operative who co-founded Catalyst, she piloted a nameless secret project which she has never before publicly discussed that tracked disinformation online and how to combat it. In secret. In secret. One component was tracking dangerous lies that might otherwise spread unnoticed. Researchers then provided information to campaigners or the media to track down the sources and expose them. I'm guessing one of those lies wasn't about Papadopoulos not working for the CIA. I guess they didn't track that one down. They didn't do that. Okay. Hey, God, we'll keep going. She concluded the solution was to pressure platforms to enforce their rules, both by removing content or accounts that spread disinformation and by more aggressively policing in the first place.
They're coming to take you away. Ha ha. Hee hee. Ho ho.
Conspiracy? No way.
No way.
There was no conspiracy to control social media and stop information during the election.
Yeah. Joey and Stevie, you guys are next.
Oh. Yeah, no, smoke-filled rooms where they make the decisions, right? Nothing like that. No, and if you say that happens, well, you are a white supremacist, right? Yep. You are committing violence and you are traumatizing our members of Congress by saying that.
Yeah. Who's the arbiter of truth here, Joy? Who is it? Come on, tell us.
Obviously, Papadopoulos.
Ah.
We are. We're the truth tellers.
Yeah. What do we have to gain by lying? I mean, clicks. Jesus.
More shadow banning.
Well, they've taken down our brothers and sisters so far. They haven't got to us yet, and I want to caution all social media individuals: don't be singling out one show or another. Don't single them out as being the GOAT in this. That is bad form. If you're going to single out somebody like Graham Elwood or
Combo Couch
or Combo or Jackson as being the reason why, because you had them on your show, I don't understand that kind of logic. Just because one show goes on another show, you're thinking they're the GOAT and the problem. That's not the problem. This is the censorship. They're coming after all of us. They just happen to pick blocks. Don't you guys agree with that? Or do you think it's the dive that's causing everybody to get censored? Anybody?
Yeah. No, it's Joy. Joy's the reason.
Joy, it's all your fault.
I admit it. I'm sorry, Graham. I love you. I know we're friends, but I wholeheartedly apologize.
Yeah, okay. All right, just checking. Stevie, now you've been on a few shows. Do you think you're the reason why that those shows got demonetized?
Well, I don't know. I pushed all of YouTube's buttons with my last video. I mean, I went to AOC, the Capitol riots, election integrity, the Great Reset. So I'm just like, I don't know. If they don't take that one down, I guess I can't piss them off. So.
Well, yeah.
I'm trying.
Well, yes, yeah, we are actively trying here over at the Dive. So
the next two clips might do it.
The next two clips might do it. Yeah, it does it for me because Shanda's got the mime thing going on there, and you want to read that before we get going? What does that say?
It says understanding each other without words.
That's me and Shanda. We share a brain.
We're even having the same tooth pulled this week.
Yeah. I got mine pulled before she did. So what is this clip you've got here?
I came across this. This is Clinton's attorney admitting that the 2020 election had issues with the voting machines.
Oh my gosh, a mea culpa from a Clinton attorney.
Damn.
Audio.
Former Hillary Clinton attorney Mark Elias spearheaded the Democrat Party's efforts in the 2020 election to force the courts to change election rules and procedures in key battleground states. As Breitbart reported, in 2016, Elias was also responsible for funneling money from Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign and the Democratic National Committee, DNC, to the Fusion GPS opposition research firm, which produced the fraudulent Russia dossier. Elias pushed Democrat policies that ensured the 2020 election would be less dependable and less secure. Elias of Perkins Coie was also behind an agreement in Georgia, one filed by Stacey Abrams' nonprofit, the New Georgia Project, NGP, filed on May 8, 2020. This agreement was also signed by the controversial and crooked GOP Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger. Mark Elias worked with Stacey Abrams in Georgia to ensure Democrats win the election using absentee ballots. For weeks now, pro-Trump Republicans have argued that flawed voting machines used in the 2020 election are faulty and unreliable at best. There is plenty of proof to back this up. Earlier this week, top Democrat elections attorney Mark Elias agreed.
Oh, he agreed.
He agreed. Uh-oh. So watch out, Lou Dobbs. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say his name? Yeah, this is the assertions in there are one thing, but the facts that they're given are another. That money was funneled to those groups. Now, the assertions, take them how you want, but I always like it when I hear it from AI.
Thanks, Stacey.
So anybody want to comment on that one?
Well, it's interesting because I couldn't see where this was from, but she's obviously, from the UK, and that's what we have to do to get information about
South Africa.
South Africa. Oh, it's
South Africa is where that comes from.
Yeah, so that's what is that a troll farm, Shanda?
No, it absolutely is not. And I am so grateful for all of these little independent medias around the world that are out there putting out a few truths, as much as they can. I like Breakingology. They do a good job. Speaking
of that, I just see where a independent news station in South Africa got droned 5 minutes ago. Shit.
Mini drones.
What do you think, Stevie? It looks like you're ready to blow your top of your head off.
It's just, this is what's crazy is that all of this is being treated like a giant conspiracy theory. Like it's a giant, that it's crazy to think that these people in power, right, would give you all the democracy in the world and would just leave office, right? If oh man, it sucks, man, I got voted out of office. I guess I'm just gonna have to give up this powerful position, right?
Become
I
a
mean,
lobbyist.
like they wouldn't do things to manipulate the outcomes, which they have all their legal ways of doing it, but that's not enough. Gerrymandering and interstate cross-check, voter suppression, not having a election holiday, that's not enough, right? They have to go into the machines. They have to do things like that, throw out ballots. We witnessed it happen with Bernie Sanders. It was very well documented with Bernie Sanders. It's just that this time around,
Bernie
I don't think people cared as much about Trump, right? So it's like, well, it's okay. And every time that this happens, it's going to get worse because nobody is being held accountable. Nobody was held accountable last time. We tried. We did the lawsuit. Nothing came from it. I mean, it exposed them, but they're still doing it. And now they're openly bragging about it in Time Magazine. So what's going to happen with the next election?
I'll wait till you see my next clip.
How bad it is now.
Well, the other thing is, like, if we dig deeper, let's think about why they're doing all this rigging. Because they know we don't want their shit candidates. If they were confident in it, they wouldn't rig. They'd be like, oh, well, they're going to win, obviously. No, they're rigging because they know they have to in order to win.
I mean, it's kind of, you should be proud of this, right? I mean, they have to censor us. They have to throw our journalists in jail. They have to murder our, leaders like MLK. They have to do all these things and pit us against each other. And still, they are terrified because of what we can do and what we're doing and what we're saying. And it's not going well for them right now. Like, they are panicking at this point.
I agree. And this next clip comes out of Australia. They're a right-wing site, but the points in this clip are very valid and the reasons why they were doing what they did to us in 2020.
Have dreamed.
We found out now the mainstream media had far greater influence and interference in our election than any Russian interference ever could have hoped for.
Really?
I mean, the fact of the matter, there have been polls out now. The McLaughlin poll said that 36% of Biden voters had never heard of the Hunter Biden story because of the censorship and suppression. Of that, 13%, once they found out, said they wouldn't have voted for Biden. So that means 4.6% of Biden voters would not have voted for him. That means Trump would have won the election. That's the enormous influence that social media and our liberal bias media played on this election. Their interference just is orders of magnitude greater than any Russian or Chinese or Iran foreign interference in this campaign.
Take a look at how the media covered the news before the election.
It's a really fishy story.
The Post claimed that the emails were found on a laptop.
The FBI is now investigating whether those alleged Hunter Biden emails are actually connected to a larger foreign intelligence operation.
They may be related to a foreign intelligence operation.
Foreign intelligence operation.
Foreign intelligence.
Foreign intelligence.
Foreign intelligence operation.
For all we know, these emails are made up.
The information found on the laptop may be part of a Russian disinformation campaign.
Part of a Russian disinformation effort.
Described by many intelligence experts as having hallmarks, all the hallmarks of a Russian disinformation.
Russian disinformation.
Disinformation campaign.
This is a classic example of the right-wing media machine.
Now,
doesn't that remind you of the one they had on Fox with all the Fox News? It was Russian disinformation.
Disgusting.
Yeah. They did the same thing. They did the same thing that they did a montage where all those local Fox affiliates were saying the same script. They just did pretty much the same thing with all the shit lib channels. So
yep, exactly.
That was, that's
The impeachment failed due to lack of evidence. People are still going to regurgitate that Russia, which, by the way, is incredibly xenophobic.
It is.
Blaming people in a country for something you have no proof of. I actually worked with 2 Russian women who had just moved to the United States, and I say, how do you feel about this? Like, how do you feel that it's always like Russia is talked about with such detest? And they're like, it's xenophobic. And I was like, I never thought of it that way, but it is. I mean, they get shit just because they happen to be Russian.
Yep. Edward Snowden really points that out too, if you would listen to his interviews.
Yeah. Oh my God! Don't say that name. You're going to get us.
I know. I got to come up with we got to come up with the acronym for him.
Yeah. Anyway, let's live it.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's loosen up here a little bit. I'm so constricted after watching Nira and Joe and everybody. This I'm sure a lot of you already seen this, but we really kind of enjoyed this yesterday. This is what is this? This is a filter gone wrong at a courtroom?
Yeah.
All right, let's watch this.
Mr. Ponton, I believe you have a filter turned on in the video settings. You might want to take
we're trying to. Can you hear me, Judge?
I can hear you. I think it's a filter.
It is, and I don't know how to remove it. I've got my assistant here. She's trying to, but I'm prepared to go forward with it. I'm here live. I'm not a cat.
I can see that. I think if you click the up arrow next to this.
Yeah. If Progressive Insurance steals that, I'm going to call bullshit on that because that's really good. That was the big shout out yesterday. Everybody was laughing at that. I thought I'd share it for those of us who didn't see it. We need to lighten it up a little bit.
Yeah, I needed that.
Yeah.
I know it's funny.
So let's get back to the serious stuff. You brought the Richard Wolff and Richie, right?
This is a great interview. Richie did an amazing job.
All right, let's hear what Richie and Richard have to say.
Someone in 1968, for example, would have more purchasing power than someone does now on minimum wage, right? And again, that just speaks to the obscene level of exploitation and transfer of wealth.
Let me give you another example that drives it home. And here the example doesn't require pushback from the Republicans, which is part of the reason for waffling on the minimum wage or for waffling on the check to be sent to everybody. The Biden administration has announced plans to increase the child tax credit. We have an arrangement where if you have a child, you get a credit. So let's say normally calculating, you owe the government $5,000 in taxes. Well, if you have a child, you can take off $2,000. If you have 2 children, you can take off 4, that kind of thing. And by the way, we have now somewhere, depends on how you estimate, somewhere between 15 and 25 million children living in poverty. And that's a conservative estimate. But let's assume it for the moment. This is in one of the richest countries on earth, living in poverty. And if you understood what our poverty line was, you would know that if we were honest, we would say in extreme poverty. But in any case, the Biden proposal is to raise the tax credit for children from $2,000 per child to $3,000 per child. All right, this is like encountering a person on the street who is obviously extremely sick, obviously terribly poor, and saying to this person, last week I gave you $1. This time I'm giving you $2. Will it help the person? Yes. Am I opposed to it? Of course not. But this is not adequate to the problem that the last 40 years have thrust half of our people into. This is before the Republicans come and whittle it away. And then Mr. Biden will be the great bipartisan, and we go through all this theater. But the bottom line is both Republicans and Democrats are hopeful and are excited that they will be able to dig this country out of the hole it finds itself in with no major tax increases, with no social conflict about redistributing wealth, but by these little adjustments, comforting themselves that while they're little, they're bigger than the other guy would have done.
This is tax credits are bullshit. I mean, if you don't file taxes, you don't get a credit. I mean, it's just like giving you something that you don't have already, and it's not really giving you shit. What do you think about that, Stevie?
I mean, and I'm so glad that he addressed the poverty line, because it is antiquated and absurd the way that we do that. I mean, they came up with this, and it really didn't even accurately depict poverty when it was created. Like it set the standard so low. I mean, like you had to have nothing. They don't even count. Like here, if you have a car, it counts against you. And we don't have public transit. Like we don't have buses and, Ubers and all this stuff, right? So if you want to go anywhere, if you want a job, you have to have a car. Well, now that counts against you. Internet isn't considered a necessity.
Yep.
A cell phone isn't considered a necessity. So all these ways, and how are you supposed to get a job without a car, without, cell phone, without internet to do the job applications? I mean, these are basic necessities now, and people are going without them. There are children right now that their parents are having to drive them out to a bus so they can have enough Wi-Fi to do their homework.
Yeah.
Because they have to stay home and do school. And what if their parents don't have a car? What if, they can't get out there? What if their parents are working? They're all these things. I mean, what we are doing with poverty and right now, especially with our children and the way that it impacts them, it's like putting a Band-Aid on an amputation. Yep. It's not going to do anything.
Exactly.
It's not going to do anything. Since everybody wants to share their trauma now, let's think about all the trauma they're inflicting on all these people that they're forcing to live in poverty. It is violence. Violence. It's. Oh. Do you have another cat video?
Yeah, can we have another cat video, please?
Joy,
the cat.
Joy, how are those tax credits going to affect you? Are they going to help you?
I don't know. Sorry. I thought you were talking to me, but I don't know if I even get a tax credit anymore because of all this COVID stuff.
Right. Nobody does.
Yeah.
No, my sister's she's a single mom in college that lost her job due to the pandemic lockdowns, and they want her to pay $6,000 in taxes.
So they're touting this credit for those who have children.
Yeah,
the poor people who don't have children can suck whatever.
Well, and don't forget that the Republicans haven't had a chance to chip away at this. So, they've always been pissed about the child tax credit. Raising my kids, I took a lot of shit because I would get a big refund, Oh, why are you getting a $3,000 check? Because I have 3 kids and I make $7 an hour and I work 60 hours a fucking week. That's why I'm getting a check.
Yeah, this is crazy. They're nibbling around the edges. I think everybody would say, "Oh, keep your shit and give us Medicare for all, a universal health care system. Just keep that." And if they could do that, that would help everybody in so many ways. This is why I'm so adamant about my position on that. I know that I think you're in agreement with that as well, Joy.
Yeah, and this just makes no damn sense. I found out yesterday that my husband and I are not getting the $600. They cannot tell me why. And we don't even make close to $75,000, even $50,000. I've been on Medicaid or Social Security disability appeal for 16 months. I have zero income. Right. Why in the fuck do we not qualify? I don't know. They say they can't tell us. Now they're saying, I think it was line 30. I wrote it down, but there's a line on your taxes that you can claim that you didn't get the stimulus, and it'll be added. But I'm not trusting that. We got the first payout. What the hell will we get this one? I don't even know. It's crazy. And I think, we are so fortunate that we still have our home, and my husband, still works, because if not, and we were more dependent on that $600, it would be bad. So I think about how many other people are going through this.
Yeah, it's freaking crazy. Well, we do have the bright side of all this stuff, though. Michelle Obama is launching a brand new cooking show.
Hot damn!
So we're gonna. That should help a lot. I just hope that
I don't have the money to buy it, but that's exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting. I'm sure those of us who have and who dumpster dive these days will find some fascinating recipes in that book.
Now that's an idea.
Yeah.
A recipe book with food that you can get from the food pantry.
I've been talking about that for years. I'm going to do a food bank cookbook. I've been talking about that for a year.
Yeah, exactly. Cooking for the masses. I mean, I think I scoffed at one of our more privileged Hollywood people about that yesterday. So
John Cusack.
Yeah, John.
Boy.
This one was caught my eye. Ryan Grimm. Ryan Grimm said, so you would negotiate. I don't think I'll get everybody out of this. So you would negotiate with Democrats for concessions. That's no different than any other way any other Dem does, and it's in service of a capitalist system. Bernie is an independent and a socialist, but he negotiates with Democrats for concessions and caucuses with them. Well, Brandon Pagano, that not Nancy, no relation to Nancy Pelosi, says, replying to Ryan Grimm and Proud Socialists, the small group of progressives have enough voting power in this moment to force concessions by threatening to tank whatever its neoliberals want. They refuse to do. So there's really not much negotiation involved. And Ryan Knight chimed in and said, it's really that simple. And Ryan knows that, yet he keeps deflecting from it. That goes back to our force the vote, right?
Yep.
So
yes, Ryan and I have, DM'd. We followed each other for like 2 years. We've talked about doing shows together, and he has a boner for attacking force the vote. I mean, I have gotten into it with him so hard, and he still follows my ass, and I don't know why, but he is literally obsessed with force the vote. It's really disturbing. I looked up his net worth. I understand why, but he's one of the people that freaking infuriates me. And honestly, anyone who endorsed Liz Warren shouldn't be saying a damn thing about capitalism.
No, I agree. And that's so what you just said, you were clipping a little bit, Joy, is that Ryan Grimm has a boner for against force the vote, right?
Yes, he's obsessed.
Yeah, he does. He does.
With coming
a lot of them are obsessed.
A lot of them are. And, this is Shanda was grilling or giving me some guff about. I got my first unfollow the other day. On Twitter, and I'm nobody, but it was from John Cusack, and because he was one of the few
I was unfollowed by him as well.
Yeah, he's one of the few in Hollywood that I even listen to because of Gross Point Blank as far as their opinions on things, because his acting, whatever. It was my guilty pleasure, but he's sitting there dissing on Fox and doing the neoliberal shitlib stuff and shoring up the establishment. And I said, well, it'd be damn nice if you would give a shout out for, freeing Julian Assange. And then he kicked back and blocked me. And all I said was, it seems more like you're a political novice than anything else. And his response to me that I didn't even get to see, it was by one of his minions came at me, that I am what did he say, Shanda? I'm a mental oyster. And,
something like that.
Yeah, I thank you. Thank you. I like
A
oyster.
mental oyster?
A mental oyster. My eyes are still crossed, trying to wonder what that was. That's a Hollywood dish. So I'm sorry,
Yeah, that's a
John.
Hollywood dish.
I complimented him on his acting skills too, but he still decided to block me. One tweet about Julian Assange and supporting just one word, and I don't know if he's really ever supported him or not. But
no, he has never.
It's just like, really? So this is the kind of garbage you get in Hollywood. And I brought this up because I want to back up, and I agree with you 100%, Shanda. Quit following these sycophantic Hollywood establishment shills. They are just terrible. Write books about them like Joy did. Yeah, I mean, that's what you want to do.
Yeah, but I will say, Susan Sarandon follows me, and I will always, always, always stand her.
Well, yeah, of course. Not everybody in Hollywood has a narcissistic brain damage syndrome. There are some great ones over there, but the scales are kind of bent the wrong way because of the club, the George Clooney club they're in there. It's like, really, you guys? So, and that goes for Iron Man 2. You should have heard his speech at Davos.
yeah.
You guys would have done a double take. You know, it would have been Scooby-Doo. Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr.
Downey Jr.
And from a guy that basically worked his way out of a drug addiction to come off like this, you know, bitching about being called a limousine liberal. Come on, you guys.
He is a limousine lib. They all are. They all live in their gated fucking community. They're the boutique left. They think that they are supporting the poor people, but they're actually crushing us with their bullshit.
Yeah. It's just, anyway, Hollywood, be careful. Be careful. They got brain damage there, so.
You know, the funny thing is, John Cusack followed me for over 2 years. We've chatted in DMs. He agreed to come on my show, and then all of a sudden he unfollowed me and he shut off his DMs to me.
Well, it's my fault, Joy. You got deplatformed because of association with me.
I probably one too many posts about how I'm glad I didn't vote for Biden.
No, it's you calling Hollywood shit libs.
Yeah,
That's what you're calling my friend shit libs. Well, anyway, I again, it's, you know, if you want to, you know, I just would, I'll discuss and I'll take on anyone because I'm with the 99% of us who are getting screwed daily. This is one of my this is Shanda and I in the 80s. We picked this up. It was the $6 million duo there, and anyway, that's that. But Kathy Copeland Padden, one of our lovely people that we love. I don't know who needs to hear this again, but there's no such thing as a progressive or leftist in the Democratic Party. Do you want to argue that point, anybody?
No.
No, I mean, I agree.
We're all like,
crickets.
Nobody survives it. Nobody
survives it. And you know, to call yourself a Democrat and be so-called progressive or whatever, I kind of like what you said in the green room, Joy. You're not you're an independent, right? You're no political affiliation, right? So I think that's the best place to be, because people say, well, you're not taking a side. Well, both sides suck. I mean, why would you take a side with either one of them? They're both crooked and corrupt. So
it is a side.
There's no side.
Yeah.
Yeah. Independent.
I want to side with the people.
That's it.
Who the hell's already for the people?
Right.
There isn't one.
Yeah.
So until then, I'm independent.
Yeah.
I make up my own rules. I have my own beliefs. I do not, subscribe to any particular party. I believe in some things from this party, this party, this party, this party. I have my own beliefs. I am not going to fit in some kind of club who constantly disrespects me or, thinks my ideas are too radical or anything like that. Being an independent is for the politically homeless.
Yeah, I agree 100%, and I respect you and everybody else who uses critical thinking, and that independent party is the biggest voting bloc. I think both parties put together is not as big as the independent, especially after the garbage we've been stuck with for the last 6 years. It's big. So if you want to, if we had a fair an election with integrity, I would really get behind, your vote counts. But until we get election integrity, integrity solved, which I don't think's ever going to happen, but doesn't mean we don't fight for it. Don't tell me, you're a conspiracy theorist, because in 2016 we had the Russiagate shit that the Democrats were going crazy, and now we've got the Trumpers, we've got the Democrats pooing on the Trumpers, say, oh, the elections were fair. I don't know how it was rigged or who it was rigged for, but it was rigged, period. And Shanda and I, again this morning, we discussed it. It's not necessarily anything but the oligarch and the wealthy are the ones who are going to select the person that's going to represent this country and put them in the presidency. I mean, Kamala Harris, really? So that's where I'm at. We have up here, after my rant there, this is a very cautionary thing, and I know they're making this guy out to be a nut job. Gunman kills 1, injures 4 at Minnesota clinic. Cops say suspect unhappy with medical care. And yeah, he might have been a Fruit Loop, and obviously he needed more medical care. Let me get this back here. There we go. But I see this trend happening more often than not, because some of these people going into these clinics, this guy was 67 years old. They just had it, and what that transfers to me is, moreover, they're going to be committing suicide more than this, but it's still killing somebody, killing yourself. What do you guys have any comment on this? Because this really stood out to me, the way our medical insurance scam is making people crazy.
Well, Reagan, he shut down, mental health facilities, turned those people out in the streets. You've got poverty that's causing a lot of mental illnesses and suicides, especially now. People have been locked down for going on a year now, right? Isolated from, family, loved ones, friends. They can't get out and exercise or be out in the sun. That, contributes to depression and all these things combined. I mean, then you've got, dump a bunch of capitalism with that, and you keep watching these ads that tell you you're not enough, you need this, you need that, you gotta have the biggest house or the fanciest car, and you're never enough. You gotta buy, because there's always something broken that you can fix with capitalism. Capitalism's there to make you whole. So all these things that put them all together, and we're just time bombs, basically. Most of the people blow up on themselves, but there was just an instance up in Pennsylvania where this couple was shoveling snow. The neighbor came out,
saw that,
executed him in the street.
Yeah,
shut them down in the street
over snow.
Yeah, I mean,
that's crazy.
You never know. I mean, people are just like one thing away from just snapping, because everything is piled onto them right now. I mean, it doesn't excuse it. You can't do that. But I mean, seriously, when they put us in situations like this, of course these things are going to happen. Of course it's going to happen.
Yep.
I understand the movie Falling Down. Like, I get it now. I just thought it was a good movie, but that film is so appropriate right now. I do want to take the opportunity to plug 2 things. I am looking for at least 2 guests to share. I want to do another mental health show. Anyone who is comfortable discussing on camera in front of hundreds of people, truly think about it. But anyone who is willing to discuss depression, suicide, cutting, self-harm, what it's like to not be able to get treatment for those things, please reach out to me, Facebook or Twitter, by PM. It's really important I do another one of those shows during the pandemic. Also, I'm writing another book, and it is about people who cannot afford healthcare or have been kicked off of healthcare, people who have gone to Mexico, Canada to get things done because they can't have them performed in the US due to money, people who lost their insurance due to a loss of job, any kind of healthcare issues monetarily. Please send your personal stories to healthcareviolence@mail.com. It's time people stop focusing on statistics and start putting a face to these stories, so to speak. You need to listen to the heartache and the pain that people are being subjected to, that violence. So please submit your personal stories exactly how they will be printed.
Yeah, I think that helped a lot with when Amy Vilela came out and was sharing her story. Yes. She's one of the first people I remember like coming out and really sharing her experience with what happened with her daughter. Something as easily treatable as a blood clot.
Yeah,
she should still be here. And there's so many people out there that are gone now because of that. And so many people, and it's extremely hard to do. I know a lot of people feel shamed about talking about certain things, but there's absolutely no shame in sharing those experiences, because there are so many people out there going through similar things.
Well,
absolutely. I had the chance to interview Amy when she was running for office, and oh my God, I must have, I think I just ugly cried like during the whole damn interview. It was awful. And you're right that she was one of the very first people to come out and share that story. And she kicks so much ass. I'm gonna reach out to her and see if she wants to put her story in. I talked to Justin Jackson, Scott Denoyers. So a lot of people have agreed to and then I've gotten a few submissions. One of them is about mental health, and it's
we'll talk after the show. We'll talk after the show, Joy. I've got a lot of stuff to tell you, so we'll talk.
Yeah, we're getting ready to head out of here. I'm going to move the next segment to Friday, but we've got Joe Biden here. The meaning of the word usually depends on the context in which it occurs. For example, in the context of bait and switch, $2,000 means $1,400. I think that's pretty accurate, don't you, ladies?
That's how the math goes.
That's how the math goes. And then, of course, still working on the Roar Media van. Anybody that wants to contribute 47 cents would be helpful. And Hypocrite of the Week, Joy brought this morning. Nike shoes designed for Barack Obama offered for sale for $25,000.
Have you worn them?
I mean, do you sniff them before? I think Joe Biden would be the first one to throw down on that, don't you? I don't know. What do you think of this, Joy? You brought it.
It just, at first it reminded me of, when Bernie did that interview when he was guessing how much the sneakers are. He was like $40 and they're like 10,000. And that is literally like 3 years of mortgage for me. And I just think it's so gross. That's hero worship. That is like, oh my God, I got this one pair of Obama shoes. And, also, what I thought of was when the dude took off his sneaker and threw it at Bush. That would be amazing if you had those sneakers and just threw them at Obama, but you'd have to pay for them to get them. That's the only downside.
Use your stimmy, man. Use your stimmy.
Yeah, use that. Is that what you call it? A stimmy?
That's what we call it. The poors call it the stimmy. Did you get your stimmy, man? I got my stimmy.
Yeah, stimmy. I see you moved up. You gave me the Wipey Award choice today.
I'll save Franco for Friday.
Okay, yeah. Wipey Award is going to go to once again Kathy Copeland Patton. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez says it's official. If you've lost a loved one due to COVID-19, you will soon be able to get reimbursed up to $7,000 for expenses laying a loved one to rest. Proud and thankful to have gotten This done with Senator Schumer, voices, and then Kathy Copeland says, doesn't it seem a little outrageous that they refuse to keep us alive with health care and financial assistance during a pandemic, but we're supposed to be grateful they dispose of all of our carcasses? This should make you mad as fuck. Wake up. Now, that sounds like something you would say, Joy.
Yeah, Lee and I actually discussed this on our show last night, and I said, it'd be kind of great if they gave us each $7,000 so we could, not have to be buried.
Right.
I mean, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. So
you and your radical ideas.
Yeah. Shame on you. Radical ideas.
I mean, I'm like too little, too late.
I'm.
And furthermore, like, people are having freaking online funerals. Like, I don't know people who need that $7,000. I just went to my uncle's funeral and it was like nothing. So I think the money is better spent by just giving us all the $7,000. It would also help the economy.
Yeah.
And I know that's what the Dems and Republicans care about.
Well, this is another case, in my opinion, and Stevie, tell me if you agree, of them giving us something but not really giving us anything.
Yeah. I mean, I'm surprised they didn't just, dig a big hole and throw everybody in that, like that's how cheap they are. It's just like, whatever, toss them in the ocean. You're the, plastic island. Screw it.
Yeah.
We're not going to waste money on dead people.
Yeah,
we're going to waste money on, alive people.
Yeah, we need to give it to the military-industrial complex so we can make more dead people.
But remember, they care about our health and safety, right?
Health and safety.
So take the vaccine.
Yeah.
And the weird thing is, I looked into it, and I can't find something that says it's retroactive. So what about the hundreds of thousands who have already died?
Yeah. No.
Like, you're saying you will... Like, you expect like that many more people to die, which is kind of daunting.
Salt Laker, you crack me the fuck up.
What?
Taxidermy costs less.
Yeah, that was how insensitive. Oh, which one? Never mind.
That's just Grandma. We stuffed her last year.
Shit.
When she got the COVID.
Yeah, we didn't have a pillow for that chair, so. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. Well, I'm glad we've got a humor in this time of misery. That's the only thing that keeps it alive. What's Sister Fee saying here today, Shanda, before we head out?
Fee says, I'm sure Americans without a stimmy, a job, or health care will just pay their rent, medical bills, utilities with impeachment and trauma storytelling. In fact, people send all of your bills to Congress since they're too busy saving democracy to do their job.
Jesus.
I love that idea.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And
Just
again,
make sure you cross out your socials and stuff first, please.
All right. Yeah, great show today. Ladies, you guys always knock it out of the park, and I hope that $7,000 doesn't count per child. Is it just a flat $7,000, or should we even go there?
Well, no, that's for dead people. You only get 3,000 maybe once the Republicans chew at it, probably less than what you were originally
Yeah,
getting.
so because I know cremation in my area is $1,800 because I had to have my father cremated, and that's what it cost me. So again,
and if you ain't got the money, Grandpa
Throw me
sits
a
in
happy
hawk.
bag.
well, yeah, and this, again, my mother, when they were looking to be buried, conventional grave and everything, she saw the price of the coffins, and she said, just give me the box that my husband's coffin came in, because she's not, that's my mom, I mean, she was very frugal when it come to bullshit. So again, I'm all for everybody making a living, but capitalism after death, not so much. Anyway, we have some announcements. Stevie, you have any announcements this week besides watch that show you did on AOC before it gets taken down?
Yeah. I've been doing some more updates to the website, partyexodus.org. I've been I've got a section in there now to where I'm putting in all of our news people, their rock bins and their articles where you can find everybody so you can keep up to date with like all the news. There's going to be different sections in there now that has like resource resources for, farming for beginners, how to do self-sustaining ways you can help your community, information about co-ops. Basically, I'm trying to get all the information in there for the toolkit so activists can, take, responsibility and take action into their own hands instead of asking our worthless Congress to do something for them, because as they've proven, they're not going to do it. So
what's the website again?
Partyexodus.org.
Partyexodus.org. I'm going to check it out.
And election integrity is a big part of that too. So it's a work in progress, but I mean, we've got kind of like the bones laid down on it. So yeah, we're adding more information as we go along.
Very cool.
Joy, what do you got coming up?
Tonight I have my work wife at the burner, my co-author, Yas Queen.
Yas Queen.
So we'll be discussing her book and one of our main characters, Near Tantrum, in this week's news. For those, apparently some people don't know, but he's Peter Douche and Nate's liver as well. That's him. So he'll be joining me tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern. I have a couple other people lined up, but I'm still working on the dates. So yeah, tune in tonight. There's going to be lots of shenanigans as there always is when we get together.
Yeah, well, I'll definitely be there to get you started off with. Make sure your chat is working. Shanda.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Shanda, what do we got coming? What's ahead for us?
Let's see. I got to put my Christmas stuff in the shed. I'm going to have a tooth pulled tomorrow. And, I'm probably going to do some dishes later. But that's the rundown of my day.
All right, so we've got Friday morning, we got the dive and Beauty and the Boomer. We're going to have a snowy Beauty and the Boomer, it looks like, here up in Washington State.
We're going to get snowed in.
So, maybe I'll get
Same in Pennsylvania.
maybe I'll get some shots of the snowman we may build on Saturday. I'm hoping my wife likes the snow. She came from a place where they never had snow, so it's really a novelty for her. That's what we got going on. And again, we got some shows coming up, some new shows coming up. Check out the one from last night, the Truth Be Known with Suzanne Murphy. That was a great show, informative, and Shanda was the wonderful co-host of that one. Anyway, we're going out with this one is by Jay Howie. You picked this one out, Shanda. What is it, a goodie?
All along the watchtower. There's got to be some way out of here.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you, ladies. Always a pleasure. Women's Wednesday. Thank you so much, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Thank you.
among us men who feel that life is but a joke. Doing how we've been through that, and it's not our fate. So let us stop talking falsely now. I was getting late. I kept the view. Wild women came and went. Barefoot servants too. And outside in the cold distance, a white cat did growl. The riders were approaching.